It is my pleasure and honor to speak here and to represent my small country, which maybe there are some people that even don't know where is Serbia. And what usually when I speak about my country, usually say, you are from Siberia or from Syria or something like that. But as a matter of fact, that only sounds similar. Siberia is a big part of Russia and Syria is another poor country. But Serbia is the name of the country where I come from. And I'm proud of my country, and as everybody on his country, I will try shortly to represent the real estate business in my country. Serbia is on the southeastern part of Europe, so this is the country that has only 7 to 8 million citizens in country, but it has a very good position in Europe. It is, we always felt like being the bridge between north of Europe to the south of Europe and between west to the east. Usually in the history we was always doing that bridging position or intermediate position. For the west we were east, for the east we were west. And that brings some possibilities to our country and to our business as well. At this short presentation I will try to say a few words about the country, about the economy, about real estate legislative, which is important to know if you would like to do real estate business to our country, about real estate agencies and brokerage regulation, realtors in Serbia, and I will represent the biggest, one of the biggest development projects in Europe at all, which is Belgrade waterfront. The position of Serbia in Europe, so it's north of Greece and northern Macedonia, west of Bulgaria and Romania, east of ex-Yugoslav countries like Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina and Montenegro, and south of Hungary. We are member of UN, Council of Europe, PFP, BSIC and CEFTA. We are European Union membership applications, and we are in the process of admission. We are always like to be neutral country. Maybe it's not good to be neutral, but we like East, we like West, we like all the sides of the world, and we try to be friends with everybody. So what actually we do in real life and in economy, politics is that traditionally excellent relations with Russia, China and India, which is having its inflection on our economy and our business. Our status in trade with the US is most favored nations. So we are happy to have this treatment from the United States, preferential custom regimes with US, EU, European Union, Japan, bilateral free trade agreements, EFTA, Russia, Belarus, Turkey, Kazakhstan, as that, we are in position to do business with everybody. So many countries that are having some issues between them are opening the companies in my country that is in position to do business with everybody. Diplomatic and trade relation, our 4 pillars of foreign policy of our country is European Union, United States, China, Russia, and with US signed stabilization and association agreement, so we are passing this process, and sometimes we feel it will last so much of time, but we are still in that process. We respect and we think that our place is to be the member of European Union, as we have all the elements for doing that. Short insight on our economy. After the problems that we were having when global economic crisis was arising at 2006, etc. It is more stable in the last few years. So for 2019, I think only prediction is 3.5% of GDP growth, but it will be more. For so far, it looks it will be more. So we have some stable, positive GDP in last years, which is not very high, but more important for our economies to give us stability and to increase the business. When we speak about real estate, what is more important, as my presentation will be interesting for you, is that US citizens can buy properties in Serbia for first. If you find the interest, all the US citizens can buy the properties in Serbia. And vice versa, Serbia citizens can buy properties in the United States, which we do. So, I hope my colleague will be one of the buyers for the property in the United States, but I already finished with doing referrals with realtors in the United States, and I sold to the Serbian people properties in Chicago, where we have a good relationship and big population of Serbian people. Some of them are still Serbian people, I mean with Serbian citizenship, but there are many American citizens that are originated from Serbia, and estimation for Illinois and Milwaukee is about 400,000 in the modest estimation, up to 1 million of people that live in that area. 10,000 in San Diego. There are a lot of people in Florida. I'm happy that not from Serbia, but from our area, I made a realtor here, which is in the audience, and she is from Croatia, and she is a realtor in this area. So you have those people that are living here in the United States and that could be investors in, and they are investors in United States development projects or the other investment possibilities. So in our cooperation, this is one of the things that we can do together, because you have people that live here that have interest to sell something in Serbia. We are here. If you have people that are of Serbian origin, they can follow the information through our system and in Serbian, but still they invest in United States. So these are possibilities for our real cooperation in our business. Serbia is a leader in our region in direct foreign investment, and this is growing in last years. So as you can see, there were some issues about 2009, 2010, but after big results in 2011, after that we have continuously increased in direct foreign investments in our country. And they are coming from different countries, like Germany is one of the biggest investors, but China is signing an agreement with our government in 17 points with investment in infrastructure and steel industry and science investigation, science projects, and the other points of 17 agreement of our bilateral economy relationship. Again, GDP is foreign direct investment comparing with GDP is over 6 or 7% last years. Real estate market in Serbia is mostly increasing. As you can see here, built units are still on low level comparing for the needs of this market. The sold units are much bigger than new build units, but the customers in our country are very interested for new developments, and that's why they often want to buy, but there is not enough developments in our country, even the increase, but there is still possibility to do more investments in residential, in commercial, in making shopping malls, which the number of shopping malls, for example, in our country is lower than it is needed for this. So all of this is possibilities for new investments in our country. speaking about the prices, of course, Belgrade is the capital of our country, and it brings more investments. It attracts more investments than any other area of our country. But we see the interest of the investors to invest in the other parts of Serbia, not only to Belgrade, particularly in commercial business. Range of the prices for the old is from 900 to 2,200 euros per square meter. We are comparing prices based on euros per square meter. We can compare different areas, different cities, etc. So this range is increasing. Average in new buildings is 1,400 up to 7,000 euros per square meter for the tower in Belgrade waterfront, which I will represent a little bit later. So market is in demand of all kinds of new properties, including office space, retail, and residential. A lot of infrastructure projects are in course, arranged by government and local municipality. A lot of infrastructure projects. For some of them, we make agreements. Our government made agreements with foreign investors. For example, we will build a highway to Bosnia and Herzegovina, Sarajevo, in cooperation with Turkey. We will build a highway in cooperation with China, etc. So these foreign investments are increasing the quality of infrastructure investment, giving possibility for the other investments to be well done. Now I will try to represent a few interesting projects in mostly in Belgrade that are whether finished, whether in course. This is Airport City. It is finished retail center, which is very nice made near to the airport and with good connection with the city, and the whole made on the modern way, finished and in use. Then one of the towers on Jušće with 130 square meters retail space is new building. One is finished and another is in course on investment with defined investor. Another is near to be finished. It is Skyline Belgrade, extraordinary project near to the Sava River, because Belgrade is on very good position. Danube, as the biggest European river, is passing through Serbia, and Sava, which is the biggest river of the ex-Yugoslavia, connecting Slovenia, Croatia, and Serbia, is making its fluent in Danube here, where the place of Belgrade is. So this is one of the project that is near to be finished. This is the Kapije Vračara. It is finished project, the residential, commercial residential development, which is the whole area, giving the new vision of life and in this part of the city and the country. Another project is Sky Garden Belgrade. So these are only few of the projects. That are in course, and the biggest one, I will like the technical staff to help me here. If you can put a video on. So the biggest development project that we have in, not only in Serbia, I think it's the biggest development project in Eastern Europe, it's a Belgrade waterfront. Belgrade waterfront is investment of Eagle Hills from Dubai, from Arab Emirates. And the master project is done by the company from Chicago, which is done master project and the project of Burj Khalifa, and the other world representative projects. So they made a master project for Belgrade waterfront too. Now, in this video, we can represent better where is the Belgrade. And the whole, on the right side, the whole area near to the water is the Belgrade waterfront project. Some of the buildings, I think 5 or 6 buildings are already finished. Some are already totally sold and have its occupants. And the other, this is the project Belgrade waterfront, and the others are in course. So you see how it will look after it will be finished. Completely new infrastructure, new boulevard with the greens, green areas, etc. With place, views, etc. All something like maybe on the way level that you have here in Miami. So this project is continuously working with the country together. The country is the owner of the company Belgrade Waterfront, major owner, together with Eagle Hills. And now you see the the tower, which is just started to be built. And this tower is on the bank of the river. It has this is a shopping mall, so there will be residential, shopping mall, the tower with the St. Regis Hotel, and the other. This is the tower. Here you can buy the space for something like 6,000 to 7,000 euro per square meter. And it is really representative, which will change the way the Belgrade is living. So all of this, by the way, the many companies from Serbia, real estate agencies are having contracts to sell this project, including my company. So if anybody would like to buy the property in Belgrade Waterfront, we can do, or anybody has a customer that is would like to buy the property in Belgrade Waterfront, we can do cooperation, which we are developing and doing referrals, etc. So this is something the best we can show and the best which is made. But now, while these two buildings are already finished and has it's how you say that, my English sometimes needs help, but it's totally sold and the people live there already. But these projects, as it's always happened, money attracts money. This project attracts another projects. So now are in the course some other projects of other countries and investors that will be monumental with the towers and high quality retail and residential space there, because we feel that this market is not saturated. This market is in need for more investment and more buyers, and the people are buying. So this project is continuously worked and paid on. Let's speak about the selling process and stability of the ownership. So government is supporting foreign investments in different ways with legislation and concrete benefits. For any investment, a government is supporting with concrete investment for, you know, if you open 100 new working places, then government will support you with giving with the funds, concrete. Principle. In 2015, law on investment is raising the differences between foreign and domestic investors. So in the same position are foreign investors as the domestic investors. Legal and factual reciprocity is actual. So I told you that US citizens are able to buy properties in Serbia, and Serbian people are able to buy properties in the United States. Foreigners can freely transfer funds abroad if all taxes have been duly paid in Serbia. So after you buy and after you want to sell the property, you don't want to keep it anymore, you can take your funds out of Serbia if you paid the taxes as in any country. When entering the country, residents and non-residents can bring the foreign and domestic currency up to 10,000 euros. So Serbia is the country that is following on all anti-money laundering legislation. So we, as realtors, we are obligated to follow the anti-money laundering as in your country, the same way. A legal regime recognizes private ownership of real estate, including land and buildings. So all the foreigners that have bilateral agreements can be owner of land and buildings in Serbia. Laws uphold and protect the right to own private property. So we finish with socialism. Now everybody has to know what is the property of whom. Public property is subject to specific regulation only, but we don't anymore. We are in the process of finishing with the public property. Maybe the people here don't know, but during socialism, the public property was the majority way, but now the private ownership is majority and the government property. Registration of title. So registration of title is done in the cadastral registry, and it is public. So you can check for any property who is the owner and what is the ownership details of that, and it is public. You can check it publicly as in your country the same way. Ownership transfer documents are written form, obligatory to be in written form, and approved by the notary. Our notary is doing something, I think 70% or maybe more of what is doing in your title company. And the rest of the registration of title is in cadastre, and the transfer of money is the bank transfer of money, and taxes are paid normally in country like 2.5% is 2.5% is the tax on the transfer of ownership, and beside that you pay just a very small fee for the registering of your ownership in the cadastre, and pay the notary, which is not so expensive. For example, for 50,000 euro, notary you pay about 200-250 euros. Capital income tax is 15%, annual property tax is different, but maximally 0.4%. So your ownership is not expensive in Serbia, contrary to some other Western European countries. For the realtors, for the real estate professionals, we succeeded to get licensing law in 2013, just about 100 years after accepting the Code of Ethics in National Association of Realtors. But since then, that law said, if you would like to do a real estate business in Serbia, then you will have to have a company. A company has to be registered. If the company will be registered, it needs to have a space, business space, and then to have at least one real estate agent that has passed the licensing exam. And then to pay insurance for professional responsibility, and that's all. So only the companies that have fulfilled this can work in the real estate in my country. Beside that, we have association. Our association is Real Estate Cluster, and this is association that is a bilateral partner of NAR and partner of Miami Association of Realtors, and the leader in association in our country. So we have a realtors in our country. We are passing, I'm the instructor for ABR and SRS and Rene courses, so we are passing the same knowledge, getting the same knowledge as you do that, here in the United States, so we understand each other. This is, we have a conference which is created in 2016, first time, and now we already have 4 conferences with many speakers. You can recognize some of them. Linda Fernandez was one of the speakers on our conference, John Mayfield, which you will see here. The president of NAR was a speaker in our conference. So in past 4 years, we made always about 200, 250 participants in our conference, which is lasting 2 days. And I invite you, this is in April, and I invite you all to see the Learn to Succeed conference. We have a website. You can see all the speakers that were in our country, and I invite you to come in April and to enjoy our conference. Thank you very much for the possibility to represent this.